This is me here at about 200 pounds, the heaviest I had ever been. Can you believe that? This is me flexing in the work bathroom at about 138 pounds. Clearly I have my abs, and you're probably wondering how I did it. Now, you can't fool me. I know for a fact why half of you motherfuckers clicked on this video in the first place, and that's because you realize it's almost summertime, and you're still getting way too fat. And that's a-okay, because after watching this video you will realize that getting abs is actually a fairly straightforward and simple process. But not without the work, of course. I had to put the tarp back on, I was looking kind of fat. Anyways, the process of getting abs really comes down to three simple things, and that's diet, training, and consistency. Now, I get it, a lot of people on the internet, you see these influencers doing these crazy ab circuits that they target your abs, but they don't train them to proper hypertrophy and progressive overload. And you also see these 5-minute ab workouts. We all used to watch them. I watched them and tried them back in the day. I know y'all have too. But yeah, it really comes down to just diet, training, and consistency. Well, now the location has changed because my dome light would not stop falling the fuck down. Anyways, now, let's talk about the training first and get all the simple stuff out of the way. To fully train your six-pack, you only need two types of exercise, one for the upper abs and one for the lower abs. Now, for an upper ab workout, I would do any kind of crunch or any kind of sit-up. You could do either or. A crunch will solely isolate your upper abs because your lower back never leaves the floor, but with a sit-up, you get your upper abs, yes, but you also hit a lot of the surrounding muscles, such as your obliques. For a lower ab, you could do any kind of leg raise, really. My favorite is the one where you are on a Harmon chair and you're solely just kicking your legs up and down. Be sure that when you pick one of each workout that you like, you stick to it and you focus solely on improving your performance in each workout week to week. And let me explain why. Now, I did mention earlier that ab training is often misunderstood, and that's because of the fact that you see all these influencers doing the wildest shit like these 5-minute ab circuits and how to get abs in 8-minute ordeals. But abs are trained and grown like any other muscle, and that's through progressive overload, and progressive overload solely. Now, what exactly is progressive overload? Simply put, progressive overload is just improved performance over time. Now, how can we apply this concept to ab training? Well, if you're doing workouts that aren't using equipment, so you're just doing a bodyweight crunch, a bodyweight leg raise, then simply focus on adding a rep each week. That's probably the best way to overload with bodyweight exercises. Now, if we're using things that require weights, like a weighted crunch or a weighted leg raise, then either focus on adding a rep each week or slowly increasing the weight each week. Because if you don't do this, if you're doing 100 sit-ups a day, every day, you're not going to grow because your muscle requires an overload stimulus to grow. And in terms of frequency of how often you should train abs per week, I would do around 2 times a week. Studies show that any muscle you train 2 times a week, that gives you the optimal benefit to grow. Abs are not something you can train every day because just like any other muscle, abs need to recover as well. If you train your abs every single day, you're not giving your abs the appropriate time to recover, and therefore you're not able to grow because you can't recover. Now, if you were to do 100 sit-ups a week or 100 crunches a week, along with 100 leg raises a week, that does help you maintain the muscle. But if you're watching this video, then I'm assuming you either don't have the ab muscles yet, or you're still too fat. In terms of nutrition, there's only 2 rules you gotta follow. The first rule is to put yourself in a caloric deficit. You need to eat less calories than you burn. Now, how do we find that number? My personal favorite way is to go to a site called tdeecalculator.net, put in your information, take the number that it gives you, and subtract around 300 to 400 calories from that number. At that rate, you should be losing about a pound a week, which is ideal to lose body fat and also to keep on and even build muscle. The second rule is to get in your sufficient protein, fat, and carbs. For the protein, take your body weight, multiply it by 0.8, and that's how many grams of protein you're eating per day to keep on building muscle even while losing weight. For fat, eat at least around 50 grams a day, because if you don't get insufficient fat, mentally you just won't be full, your PP will not work, and your overall sex drive goes down and you'll feel overall just lethargic. And I would just fill the rest of your macros with carbs. You need to have carbs to have sufficient energy while training. Now, the types of foods you eat don't really matter that much as long as you are hitting the macro goals, but if I had suggestions, I would stick to mostly lean meats, complex carbs like potatoes and brown rice and vegetables, and fruit. Do not underestimate the power of fruit. Fruits are low in calories and highly filling, and fats like avocados and fatty fish. Here, I'll even give you a simple meal plan. Meal 1, protein French toast. Meal 2, chicken breast and potatoes. Meal 3, salmon and vegetables. This honestly is just an example, and honestly what I would do, like use these leaner sources to make fun recipes like a lean pizza, protein ice cream, protein French toast. And I will make videos like this on how to make these kinds of foods later on, so stay tuned for that. Now I will tack on cardio to the section too. In terms of cardio, I would focus more so on steady state cardio, such as a brisk walk or a jog. You can run too, but steady state cardio is more optimal because it doesn't raise your appetite as much, and the number one killer of a cut, of any cut, is usually raised appetite, because then you overeat and you binge like a motherfucker. Now I'll be honest, when I thought of the consistency point at first, I thought it spoke for itself in terms of just being consistent and showing up and working hard every day, but I'm realizing now that there actually is a lot more to that. And I want to bring up 2 points. The first point being, take a refeed day once a week. What is a refeed day exactly? A refeed day is a day at maintenance, not a day where you can eat like a fat ass. Now, that number you saw on TDEE calculator, eat that number. What are the benefits of a refeed day exactly? Well, the first one is better performance and recovery. Now, when you are cutting, as you go steeper and steeper into the cut, you will eventually lose strength. Having that refeed day may offset some of that. The second benefit of it also is just psychologically. When you diet for so long, you get tired and you get strained and hungry and all this stuff. On the mental, it's a lot easier to have one day where you can just have more food. Third, increased leptin, which plays a small part in fat loss, but still plays a part in fat loss nonetheless. And those who have refeed days once a week usually lose fat faster than people who are in a straight cut the entire 10 weeks, 12 weeks, whatever. Now, I'm cutting for a bodybuilding show, so I do have to be in a deficit for quite a while. And it sucks, but hey, it's all part of the plan, my man. Also, if you find that you're stalling, a refeed day is going to help with that too, because those also will help you with your metabolism, essentially, I guess, resetting it. And if you also find you're stalling, take a week or two to take a diet break. At maintenance again, not eating like a fat ass. Take a week to take a diet break. Again, for the psychological benefits, those who take diet breaks usually have more success with their fat loss journeys. Alright, now let's cover some mistakes. Some that I have made and some that I see people make on a consistent basis. The first one is definitely cutting way too fast. A lot of people have the habit of just cutting calories off rip, going from 3,000 to 1,500, and that is bad because, for one, you lose all the muscle that you potentially built, and after you are done crash dieting, you are way more likely to binge eat and rebound right back, because ghrelin will kick you right in the ass. Your hunger will go way up, and then you just undo everything, all the hard work you just did. Number two, of course, your metabolism, testosterone, all that stuff will go crashing down, and you're basically stuck maintaining your weight at 1,500 calories a day, and we don't want to do that. That sounds like ass. And then the third thing too, you also lose all the muscle you built. So it'd be hard to even build abs in the first place if you weren't supplying the necessary nutrients to build the abs. The second mistake is relying on this thing too much. Why? Because your body will retain water day to day. Maybe you had too much diet soda one day, maybe you were stressed, didn't get enough sleep. There are a lot of reasons why you're not going to wake up a lighter weight every day. That just happens, and as you get leaner and leaner too, your body will fight back more and more. And there are days where you'll be up weight because you're retaining water, but if you just look at yourself, you'll see if you look leaner or not. It's very possible you're up a pound or up 2 pounds, but you'll look shredded. And also just mentally too, people will see that they're gained weight 1 or 2 days and do extreme things like cut calories by 1,000 and start doing miles of cardio, and you don't want to do that. Trust what you're doing, eat that same calories every day, and I promise you will see the scale drop eventually. But it won't be every day. It'll be like once every 3-4 days, depending on what your diet's like day to day. It's kind of a funny segue because I said one point is relying on the scale too much, but also make sure you also are weighing your food out, because so many people make the mistake of either overestimating or underestimating how many calories they're having, and the only way to be sure is to weigh your food out. On every package of every food you see, there should be this amount of grams, this many calories. So you weigh out how much you need and do the math if you have more than what you need, yada yada yada. And one more mistake I should have prefaced in the beginning of the video. Depending on how fat you are, it will take you a longer amount of time or a shorter amount of time to reach your goal weight and goal physique. And honestly, I would not go for something that's 10% body fat, 9% body fat, unless you have to for like a show. I would go for 15% body fat because you are optimally healthy, you look good, and you feel good. I think a lot of people make the mistake of going for way too low of a body fat, but that comes with nasty side effects like being hungry all the time, being irritable, maybe you beat your wife, things like that, and that's not something you want to do. Not to mention your pee-pee won't work either. We can't all be 6% body fat. Well, I guess technically we can, but we all shouldn't strive to be that way because, again, the nasty ass side effects. You don't want to beat your wife now, do you? Hey y'all, thank y'all for watching that video. I know there are times where I came across as, blunt and maybe insensitive, but that's just my style of humor. I don't mean half of the stuff that I say. Well, in a way I do, because I want to be blunt with you guys with my advice and not set you guys down the wrong path, I want you guys to succeed and I want you guys to do well. And part of that's going to come with being blunt. Anyways, till next time, motherfuckers.